3 lives, a lost mother, and how an instrument can bring father and son close again. Alessandro shares many of his most private experiences in episode 15. Thank you for your trust, and we hope you enjoy listening to the Walkie-Talkie Podcast. Hello, Alessandro.
Hello.
You are my next guest in the WalkyTalkie Podcast, and I'm pretty happy to have you here today. I'm back with you in my, I call it now, small studio, which I have here in the woods at Tegish Lake in the old cabin. Alessandro and me met a few days ago. Alessandro is at the moment on a special trip, and maybe he wants to tell us a bit about it and where you're from, why you ended up here, why we met. And yeah.
Sure. The special trip is my honeymoon. After a long time where I didn't think that would happen, I met the right one. So we met, got together, and eventually we finally wed a year later than expected because of the COVID things that's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, I think you're not alone with that.
Yeah. And we ended up here in Yukon because, well, this might sound diminishing of Canada, but it is not by a long shot. But because of COVID, there are not many places open in the world for Italian people to go to.
Ah, okay.
So we made a list, and Canada won the election. Let's say our original destination was New Zealand.
Okay, also beautiful.
Yeah, but I guess that will have to wait a little bit longer. And so to make Canada gain more points rather than being plan B, I always wanted to explore these lands. They are quite mysterious and interesting. So here we are.
It's huge. Yeah,
it's huge. Yeah.
And how is your trip so far in Canada?
Great. It has been great. It's only 10 days, and these last 3 have been the best out of all. It will be hard to beat. This short stay here.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I would like to hear your feelings and your thoughts about your trip today, because what you did today is very special. Yeah. I did it once a few weeks ago, and I have to say it was one of the most peaceful things I ever did in my life, because I'm a person who's really connected to nature and animals. So maybe you can tell me a bit what you did today and how was it for you and how felt it?
So it was a dog sledding trip, and it was unbelievable. I have no clue what to expect. I thought it would be a really cold trip, but it wasn't. And I never felt like we were in minus 20 something
during the day
temperature. It just felt a good day, and the weather was incredible. We felt very lucky, and my wife Paula said that it was the best experience of her life, and I couldn't disagree with that. I had a few other experiences, but this is really great. As you said, peaceful, really immersed in the silence. And yesterday we went for a walk in the woods, but it wasn't the same thing because we were very noisy. So the sound of the snow cracking under your boots is almost deafening. And here with the sled, you just slide through the snow, and there's barely any sound beside the dogs.
That's a really good point. Because I did a short hike while you did the dog sledding tour, and I noticed exactly this, because if you stop breathing, then you have the silence which is around you. Then you can catch it. But on the sled, you move and you get the silence.
Yes.
This is the thing. Yeah, I thought about it a lot, and now I get it. Thanks you for that. Yeah. That's it. And it's good to have you here after one of your best experiences you had. And so you must be in a good mood now. You must be very happy.
Yes, and I had the time to shower, hot shower, so that raises the mood even more. Yeah. But yeah, it was great, and the fact that they let me ride the sled, even if I was in the back seat, but not just sitting in the sled, was the additional excitement.
Yeah, you're quite active.
Yeah, but more than that, is just like you're in it. Mm. You're just not a passenger. Yeah, you feel like you're doing something, and I tried to learn as much as I could in these few hours from the guide, and I was trying to mimic clumsily. Mimicking her moves, and I managed to fall only twice. Oh, nice! So I guess that that's a good experience.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. And where are you from in Italy? Because the nice thing is when you arrived, and I noticed that you're from Italy. I remembered myself a bit back to last year when I was in Switzerland in the Italian part, where my sister lives, and I met so many great people over there, and started realizing that I can understand a bit Italian, which is maybe different to your Italian, but your wife is talking a lot of Italian with me, and I noticed that I still understand a bit.
Okay,
which is really nice. So where are you from in Italy?
We are from a city in the northwest that's called Torino. Yeah, it's one of the biggest city of Italy. Yeah, and she's trying hard to speak English, but as soon as she finds that people understand her when she speaks Italian, she just goes full Italian. I've
never been in Torino. Mm-hmm. I have a kind of a picture of books and stories which people told me, but how would you describe Torino as a...
So it's very close to Switzerland because it's less than 2 hours drive to get to the southern border of Switzerland and the Ticino region that you're familiar with. It was, still is, an industrial city. It's part of the industrial engine that keeps Italy going.
Okay, yeah.
We're home to the biggest car factory in Italy that's called Fiat, and now it's called Stellantis after the fusion with the French.
Since when?
Officially this year.
Okay.
So it's probably at the beginning of the year. I kind of lost track of that. Yeah. We're still. I work there, so we're still. Having the wheels rolling to set in the new organization, let's say. So yes, it's industrial, car factory, a lot of services. I think that's how most Western countries are moving to. We are kind of, it is kind of shadowed by Milan, which is very close by, and it is attracting and taking most of the glory. I don't know how what to say about that, but they are more active. Torino is more laid back, kind of passive. We get the ideas, we start things, and then other people come and hey, we did this. It's now we did it, and you took it. But I don't want to sound like a whiner. Yeah, it's just like a lot of good ideas come, and then historically, it was where the short kingdom of Italy started back in the 19th century, and Torino was the first capital of Italy.
Oh, okay.
And from 1861, I think, when there was the declaration of the Kingdom of Italy, till 1866, when it moved to Florence, and then 4 years later went to Rome, and Rome has been the capital.
That's why I love talking with strangers and having this conversation, because I can always learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about, we talked a bit about already a few things. What do you think or feel about encountering or encounter things, people, whatever, it can be everything. What do you ever thought about what it means to you, or what it...
Yeah, I look forward to it. I don't like to be the typical tourist that travel into a country, takes pictures that everybody takes, and visit the places that everybody visit.
Yeah.
I cherish the most the experiences that I do when I'm not a typical tourist. So I try to go, say, behind the corner and try to meet the local people.
Yeah.
Not just a guide.
Yeah.
Or, a museum curator or stuff like that. I want to sit down and have a chat with people to learn more of the culture that I'm visiting, and try to learn how to be more respectful of that culture and getting to know it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because I have this opinion in myself as well. I traveled a lot, I would say, and sometimes I traveled like a tourist, and I felt always uncomfortable with that. And I noticed, like you, like if I want to travel, I want to be connected to the place where I am, and I want to understand minimum a bit how it is to live where I am and how it is to be there, and be connected. So you would say like you are a person who's open for encountering things, and you're looking for it as well. Like
absolutely,
you really,
I try to experience the most of what I encounter. If I encounter something that I'm uncomfortable with, I just say no, thank you.
Yeah.
But I try to be open about what I meet.
Yeah. And you, so you, we had a short look in that you are working for Fiat. So what are you doing there? And I know also that you lived a while not that far away from here, I would say. It's far, but on the map, we would say it's not that far.
Yeah, compared to Italy.
Compared to Italy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So right now, I am a test engineer. I test mobile apps and website connected to the vehicles. So modern vehicles, especially the electric ones or the hybrid vehicles, they collect a lot of data from the sensors that are installed into the vehicle. They have a router where all these sensors are directed to, and then they send this information to the cloud. Yeah. And then there are mobile apps and websites that get those data and provide the customer with information about the vehicle or how they are driving, or they can actually interact with the vehicle, like opening the door from their phone and stuff like that. And I'm part of the team that do most of the testing prior to going live to the public.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's super interesting. Because if I think about that, I'm not into technique at all, but I'm always a bit interested in it and always amazed what is possible with technique, especially like this. If you have a car what can kind of read your mind, is on the one hand sometimes for me super impressive, and on the other hand I'm thinking, okay, that's a bit too much. Yeah. How is that for you? Is there a thing? Do you think about that as well? Like too much information?
Too much information, that for sure, especially if we're thinking about social media. Yeah. In this context, first of all, we're not saving lives. Yeah. We're just helping people to be connected and with their vehicles, if that makes any sense. And I wouldn't say that the vehicle can read our mind yet. We're very far from that.
Yeah.
The group that Fiat is part of is starting to work towards the autonomous drive here in the US, not in Europe yet.
Yeah.
But we're just very early stages. Like we're not yet in the era of, Terminator or stuff like that. It will be still a futuristic idea for the moment, I would say.
Yeah. Did you ever work as an engineer?
My first life until I was...
Oh, you have two lives. You say so?
Yeah. Well, probably this might be my third. I don't know. Initially, I just studied to be an engineer.
Yeah.
And I got my degree and I started working as an engineer. I was programming mobile phones. And then now I'm back at it again. And I had a sort of interlude where I was looking for something completely different. I tried to make very different experiences, and then situations didn't let me continue on that path, or probably I wasn't strong-willed enough to keep pushing in that direction. I don't know. It's a bit of both.
It's a mix.
Two things.
How did you went out of your first life?
That happened when, unfortunately, when my mom died.
Yeah.
So my parents were divorced when I was very little.
Yeah.
And then she remarried. That was cute because she started dating this guy and they lived together for many years. And then when I was 18 or 19 years old, they decided to get married. And I got to be my mom's best man.
Oh, yeah.
And his son was his best man.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cute to do. And then life went on, and then things went downhill, I guess. So he decided to get a divorce. So my mom decided, I would say she went blank. You know, when a television loses its signal and went... To me, the only explanation that I have is she went something like that.
Yeah.
And she took her life.
Oh, by herself?
Yes.
Okay.
So
intense.
that was kind of a shocking moment. Yeah. And 2 days later, we were living together, and we were living with my grandma, her mother. And
how old were you when that happened?
35. It was 2010, so 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, my grandma fell and she broke her bone, her leg. Yeah. So she went away for 2 months in the hospital as well to, get an operation and recover. So suddenly I went from living the typical young person in Italy, where at 30 plus years old, you're still living with your parents and they take care of everything. Like I think we have this reputation of being mama's boys, that mama always take care of everything. Yeah. All of a sudden I feel like in a Pink Floyd song.
We go later in this direction. Yeah.
And so I went from that to now, how do I run my life with no guidance? I don't even know how to pay bills, because I always took that for granted, that someone else would take care of, and I wouldn't know what to do. And I kind of started thinking about going on a journey. So I was like, okay, what should I do now? And I saw only two options, actually. The first option was to start going in a dark spot and start welcoming depression, and eventually, potentially, ended up taking my life like my mom did, because she was depressed, and the second divorce was the trigger for what happened. And the other option that I saw was like, okay, what do I wanna do when I grow up?
Did it really felt like these two options in this moment?
Yeah, basically. Probably there were more, but I didn't want to keep doing my life like I always did, like nothing happened, and not take the moment and make a change and start living a life that was worth living. Like I felt when I went on to this, sort of self-analysis, I realized like what am I doing? Really nothing. I eat, work, sleep, and repeat. My thing was, okay, I'm playing online games. I have a guild. I have this character into this fantasy world. And we do stuff with my online friends that I met only once in 6 years. And then I checked, and in the previous 4 years, came out that I spent 1 year online.
Wow.
And if you think that in those 4 years, you still go to sleep, so more or less 1/3 of your day is spent sleeping, spending 25% of your life online, it kind of sucks.
But it didn't feel in the moment like you enjoyed it.
I was having a great time. But then it was like
you had like an awakening, kind of. You ask yourself a lot of questions, and from one moment on.
Exactly. I was paying to do that. I wasn't a pro gamer like now. That is a career that brings a lot of money to people. That was not. It was not a career, it was a hobby. And it was like, probably there are better hobbies than that. So I just decided, okay, let's do stuff. And I started doing stuff. And I need to be very grateful for a friend of mine. We were kind of...
Who is it?
It's an old friend. Her name is Clara. And we were kind of... We knew each other since the junior high. And we were kind of rival at the time.
Okay.
We were striving to be the best student in school. So we had this sort of rivalry. And then she got married with my best friend at the time. And then she went away because they went to live in the mountains. And I totally lost sight of her. And then I don't know how she learned that my mom had died. So she texted me and she was like, okay, I cannot be here now because I'm in South America, but as soon as I come back, we need to meet. So she came back, we met, and she took me on this wild 6-9 months of experimenting with weird stuff,
For example, what means weird stuff?
Well,
it sounds interesting.
it was interesting, and the apex of these experiences was meeting with a shaman, a Brazilian shaman who didn't look like a shaman at all.
In Brazil?
Yes. Well, no. He was Brazilian, and she met him on a flight back to Europe. They were sitting next to each other on the plane, and they started talking. Random encounters in life. And this guy, he was German. Okay, so he was,
but from Brazil.
Yes. So he lived in Brazil.
Okay.
But he was of German descendant. He was like tall, blonde, green eyes. He was a surfer. He traveled the world kite surfing. And being a shaman. So he got the task from his elders to go to Europe and bring shamanism to Europe. So he sat down close to between Torino and the Ticino area of Switzerland. He was living on the Lago Maggiore.
Oh yeah,
And he was living like 20 minutes away from the Swiss border. And
what's his name?
Timothy.
Timothy.
I don't remember his last name at all. And so he created this way of providing the ayahuasca medicine in a fashion that's more acceptable for Europeans, because I know how ayahuasca works in Peru, and I would never have been able to do it. So he did this different approach that was kind of like, he was giving the ayahuasca in small shots rather than a huge bowl of this, to be honest, very disgusting beverage. And it was more acceptable to drink. And so we did that with my friend 3 times, and it was mind-blowing. Like after the first time, I was like, okay, everybody in the world needs to do this, because it is an eye-opener. You start feeling things differently. At least that's my experience. And everybody's experience is different. Like the second time that I did it, it was the opposite. It was almost a struggle. So it's not for everyone, even if I would say everyone should give it a try. I don't know. Did you ever try that?
No.
I think from the very little that I know you, that might be an experience that you might.
It's interesting because I meet more and more people which share their story about that with me, and I'm getting more and more interested in it because more and more people talking about that with me, and it sounds very intense and very interesting. Especially if you, be aware of your body and your life and all these things which surrounds you. But you said like this was a kind of eye opener. So what happened then? Like you changed your decisions. You made the decisions, or
I don't know. That was, by the way, that night is when I became a vegetarian.
One day,
yes,
to the other,
because in preparation for the ceremony, he asked me to do a sort of detox menu for a few days. So I went without eating basically anything. I was just on boiled rice and boiled veggies for 2 or 3 days. And then we did the ceremony. And at the end of the ceremony, it was like 4 a.m. And we walked out into this beautiful balcony, grass balcony, looking over the lake with the moon shining on top of the mountains on the other side. It was the most beautiful and peaceful time. And because we fasted for a full day. So we ate finally after the ceremony. And the idea, I was eating strawberries, and it was the most incredible experience. Like I could feel, those little seeds that are on the top of the strawberry, and I could I could feel every single one of them with my touch.
Yeah.
It became not just tasting with your mouth, but with all your other senses.
Yeah.
It was great. And then I came back home, and my grandma, she came back from the hospital, and she prepared me the meal, and she gave me a piece of meat, and I ate it. And then I was like, okay, I'm a little bit tired. I'll go have a nap. I wasn't sick, but I was really, really uncomfortable. And I reckoned that the uneasiness came from what I just ate.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever happened to you, but I felt like drowsy. It was like I'm asleep, but I'm awake at the same time, and everything feels like moving in slow motion. Mm-hmm. And every action is very hard and takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that sensation at all. It was like, okay, enough meat. And basically I never ate it, at least consciously. Yeah. It happened. Yeah. And it's been 11 years, 11 years, and I don't regret it. But this series of events led me to be living close to where we are now. Because you asked me that, and we never went there. But I lived in Utah for 3 years. And that happened during that spiritual journey. I call it I was on a spiritual journey to find who I was and who I wanted to be. Thanks to my friend, I met another friend who was heavily into shamanism, and he wanted to go to a place called Sedona in Arizona, where a lot of things happens. There are like energy vortexes and Native American people there with shamans, and there is a Buddhist center there. Really is a capital town of spirituality. So he said that he was gonna go there, and on a whim I decided to go with him. And what was supposed to be a 3 weeks vacation in the desert of Arizona became a 3-year stay in the United States. So I met people, and I met people at a Crystal Skulls event because it was 2011, and we were getting close to November 11th of 2011. That was like, those mystical dates. Yeah. And the Mayan elders were traveling on a sort of pilgrimage throughout the United States to visit important places that were energy centers, because they said that the focal energy point of Earth was moving from South America to North America. So they were on this pilgrimage, and one of the stops was in this place, Sedona. And there I met 2 ladies. Again, total chance. We started chatting during a lunch break, and then they invited me to go with them where they lived. And so I did like a 6-hour detour, because I was supposed from Sedona to go to Los Angeles to meet with my friend. Yeah. And I went to St. George, Utah, and stayed with these ladies for a day. And then I'll try to be short, because it is a long story. Yeah. But we kept meeting, and I ended up living and dating one of them for 3 months. And she was a massage therapist. Yeah. So we had a lot of connections. I had a lot of connection with her. And so she started introducing me to her clients to do some energy work together with them. And so I started thinking, I never had a massage in my life before, but that really ringed a bell inside of me. I was like, oh, I would really like exploring this massage therapy thing. So I started looking, and in Italy, massage therapy doesn't exist. There are no schools, there is nothing. So she was like, well, you speak very good English. Thank you. And why not pursue it here? So I did. And I contacted the school she went to. And 4 months later, I was enrolled into the Utah College of Massage Therapy for the next 9 months.
How long does it take from being the engineer in Torino to this trip and then being a massage therapist in Utah? Like how what's the how many time was in between?
My mom died November 3rd of 2010. Halloween of 2011, I applied for the ESTA visa to go to the United States. And 2 days later, I was landing in Phoenix, Arizona. So a year of exploration led me to meeting this lady who opened me towards massage therapy. Yeah. And then I was supposed to start school in June of 2012. And I ended up having a bad car crash 2 days before starting school. I broke two vertebrae in my spine.
Oh.
And they told me, well, massage? No massage for 6 months. And like, I need to start school tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was like, no way. So I ended up doing a lot of energy work. I had cranial sacral, amazing, during which I even had a very brief out-of-body experience.
Let us There was a short notice. What is, like, not everyone knows what it is.
Cranial sacral.
Yeah.
It is a massage techniques that involves rebalancing the spinal fluids that flow in our cerebral cavity and down our spine. So the brain and the cerebral and the spine are suspended into a fluid, and that fluid is the target of the cranial sacral methodology that allow basically you work both the cranium and the sacral end of the spine to rebalance the fluid.
There's where the name comes from then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm a bit rusty, so I was taken a little bit by surprise by your question. But
so I knew a bit about that, but it's always like not everyone who's listening knows. Always,
absolutely right.
And I like to have a short explanation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then my friend Sherry, because I was visiting her when the accident happened. So I ended up staying a month at her house uninvited because I was unable to do anything because I had a broken spine. You know? So she took care of me. And one day she took me to a guy who received a gift from God, he says. And so I sat down with him like I'm doing with you. He asked me what happened, and then he put his hand close to my shoulder without even touching me, and I felt like a lava flow going down my spine. And after 5 minutes, I walked out of there with no brace. They put me in a brace that was going from my pube to my neck to keep me blocked, to let my bones heal. I didn't use any of that anymore.
From 1 second to the other?
For 5 minutes. I couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. it was amazing.
Yeah.
A great experience. And then I had.
Do you think it can happen if you're not open for that? Like if you don't believe in what the people in front of you are doing, like if you don't let it into you?
Well, for sure, my journey that I was on helped me.
Yeah.
For sure, these things are more difficult if people don't believe in it, but sometimes they work anyway. But, they say that for people with addiction or people with depression or with mental health problems, they say that it's them that have to want to be cured, to heal from those problems. Yeah. Nobody can force them to heal from the addiction or the whatever they have. So to answer your question, probably my openness at the time. I cannot say that I'm as open as I was back then, but at the time that helped me a lot for sure.
And then you then you stayed a while in Utah.
I went to massage school.
Then you worked as the massage therapist.
No. I did a few internships, but because I was a student, I wasn't allowed to ask for money, and I wasn't even allowed to accept money from people that I worked on that would be willing to give me money. And then I tried to remain in the States and work as a massage therapist, but it didn't work out because the rules to stay in the United States for work require you to be employed by someone, and you need to use a 4+ years degree in order to work and do a work linked to your degree. So the massage therapy diploma is it is a college, but it is a vocational school. It is only 9 months of school, so that doesn't qualify. So I couldn't work. I should have opened a business and invest a lot of money in the business. I was in touch with a few lawyers that were dedicated to that subject, and basically they told me it is a very hard road that you're going to. And 3 different lawyers, including one of the founders of the law firm that is the Mormon law firm that follows the business of the church, told me, you wanted to stay in the United States, get married. That's the easiest and more common way to get the visa to stay. And honestly, I didn't feel like trading a marriage for a passport. So I was like, okay, probably this is not meant to be. And I went back to Italy.
This is where your third life started, kind of?
Yes. So I tried to work as a massage therapy or find a way to work as massage therapy in Italy. Very complicated, including the fact that Italy is not really ready for massage therapy to be there, because most of the people that I talked to think about massage therapy as a covert op for prostitution or stuff like that. There are a lot of massage centers in Italy, but they are like Chinese massage with the happy ending included.
Okay. I thought we are far away from this finally, but we are okay.
So it's like, well, no. And then I offered massage to a lot of people. They're really interested. Oh, you do massage. Oh, I'm blocked. My neck hurts. Or they're like, okay, let's meet and do it. And they always back off. So making excuses, and then being a guy in the massage therapy business, it's also harder.
Yeah.
Because even in the United States, there is this sort of cliche of a massage therapist being a woman.
Yeah.
And there is this other cliche where a guy who is a massage therapist is like probably gay. So a man doesn't like to have a male massage therapist work on them because they're afraid of being, sexually assaulted. Yeah. And female clients are also afraid because being on a massage table is kind of a very weak point to be. This is the wrong word, but basically it is you're defenseless, basically. So it is much easier for someone.
And we have an image of that as well.
Yeah. But, lesson number 1 in massage school is professionalism. You are doing a job, you're doing it professionally. You never touch people with an intent that's not the intent of healing them through massage. Why would I certify as a massage therapist to become a sexual predator because I want to touch you?
Yeah.
That would be that would be a stupid move to do, but perhaps people don't get to that level of reasoning.
Yeah. So was it the reason for going back to to work as an engineer?
Yes, I tried for 6 months to find a way, and I couldn't find it. And so at the end, I was already living. I've been living for the past 3 years with my inheritance that my mom left me. And it was like, I also need to take care of my grandma because she's getting very old. So I need to start having a job and income again. So that's how I became an engineer. I came out of retirement and started working as an engineer again.
So back as an engineer, as working for Fiat, and now you're here on your honeymoon with the right person, you said.
Yeah.
How did you met? And I know that you have an interesting hobby together, which you figured out. Was it a circumstance that you figured out that you have this hobby? Or was it you knew that before?
No, we didn't know.
How did you met and how?
Online dating.
Okay, yeah.
Occasionally it works.
Yeah.
And the peculiar thing about our online dating is that she was the first and only person that I contacted through the online dating app.
Yeah.
She started the online dating 6 months earlier, and she said, okay, I will try this thing for 6 months and then I will delete it and never think about that anymore. And so my first person that I contacted through online dating, I contacted her the day before she was to delete the app.
Okay. So you had a good timing.
Yes. Again, a chance meeting where the odds are totally against you, but things happened. And there would have never been another way that us two could meet.
Yeah.
Because we had completely different lives, completely different jobs, completely different friends and circle of friends and things that we used to do. And that even if we were living in the same city,
which is huge,
but not as huge as it seems, because it always ends up, oh, you knew that guy?
Yeah,
I know that guy too.
Yeah.
Or it's the theory of the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, it started when I heard the first time was 7.
Or 7. Yeah.
And then I'm already heard about it's just 4. So maybe there are different
So there are different
signs
theories
about it. Yeah,
Yes.
different theories.
But yeah, so we met. I contacted her. Actually, I had a friend of mine write some stuff to her, pretending it was me, because I'm totally socially apt.
Yeah.
I'm not good at socializing with people. I'm getting better as I get old, but I'm not really good at that. So he helped me a little bit. We started chatting, and then we started talking on the phone, and then it was like, okay, why don't we meet? We met, and we went to a photography exhibition. And after that, we went to live music, because a friend of mine was celebrating the anniversary of his music shop. So he was playing, so we went to see him play. And after that, we went for dinner, and like nothing, 8 hours passed. Yeah, we found out we had a lot of things in common.
Yeah.
And the first things that we found we had in common was music. So the hobby that you refer to is guitar collecting.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I always wanted to play guitar. I was very bad at it, but I bought a few, especially when I was living in the States, because in the States, guitars are way cheaper than they are in Italy. So I came back with a couple guitars, and then for the first Christmas, we gifted each other a similar white electric guitar to each other without each other not knowing about what we were gonna.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we both bought the guitar in that music shop.
In the same music shop, okay.
Yeah. And the guy at the music shop knew what we were doing, but he kept the secret.
He
was very good.
Nice, yeah.
And now she's more into photography, and now I'm trying to learn how to build guitar instead of buying them.
That's what you told me yesterday, yeah. And this is the really, really nice goal which you have. And maybe we can close this episode with the beautiful story which you told me about the guitar which you kind of built with your father.
Yeah.
Because there is another interesting relationship which is included in this story, and I would like to hear that.
Sure.
Maybe at the end. Yeah.
So, as I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, my parents got divorced when I was 4. And basically, I never knew who my father was. We occasionally met when I was little.
Yeah.
But then when he had his son, the connection ended more or less abruptly. So for more than 30 years, I didn't had any connection with my father. And he connected back with me when my mom died, but we didn't really have anything in common, or we didn't know each other. So for my birthday 3 years ago, my wife, instead of gifting me another guitar, gifted me a build kit guitar. So I had to build it. And I connected with my dad, and I asked him to help me out with that project, because he's very good with anything that has to do with doing things with your hands.
Yeah.
And he had a wood shop where he lives, and he had the tools.
How was it for you to contact him and to ask for that? Was it like you really felt like I want to do that, or was it like how did you feel?
To be honest, it was Paula's idea, not mine, but it was a very good idea.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find a way into my dad.
Yeah.
And that was a good way. because I had the chance to see him do what he's best at doing now that he's retired. And I was like, I had to fight a little bit with myself because he went into tutoring mode. So he was, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And I was kind of like, hey, dude, I'm old enough to do my own mistakes and learn the job by myself. But I was like, no, don't say that, and listen. For once, listen to your dad teaching you. Like it should have happened 30 years ago, and it never happened. So we built a guitar. We painted a guitar together, and I included a little memorial to Paula's dog that died during that period.
You showed me the picture that the footprints of the dog is on the guitar as well. Yeah, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and the dog was cremated, and before we cremated him, we took the footprints on a chalk, and I had to steal the footprints without Paula noticing, because then the guitar that was her gift to me for my birthday became my gift to her for her birthday the next year. So I surprised her with the memorial for her dog.
How many guitars do you have in your room now?
20 something. I kind of lost count.
And how's your connection to your dad now?
Better. Not easy, because, as I said, I'm not very good with socializing. He is even worse than that. So it is a struggle. Sometimes are better, sometimes are worse. I'm not used to have a dad, so sometimes I forget to do a simple thing like picking up the phone and give him a call to say, hey, how you doing? So, still a work in progress, but better than before.
Exactly, that's what I want to say. Yeah. Alessandro, thanks a lot for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing a very, very interesting thoughts which you encountered on your journey. And I'm looking forward to have a picture someday from your guitar, from your own made guitar, hopefully.
Yes.
And maybe I can motivate you a bit.
Yes.
With that,
I'm going to, when I come home from the honeymoon, I will furnish my little man cave that I'm putting together to do that. So hopefully by the summer, some prototype will be ready. So I will be happy to share the actual process with you.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's very interesting. My sister built once her own violin, and when she talked about that, and I know a bit how the process was for her, and it's like for her it was the really, really intense and a great thing to do, to create your own musician. And after the playing, then I know that she's still very happy about that, and it's a great story. Thanks very much, Alessandro. It was really nice to have you. Was a really nice conversation and a really nice encounter, which I met at my work here randomly. And
well, it has been my continuing thread for the past 10 years. Random encounters with interesting people and sharing stories. So thank you for having me. And
you're more than welcome. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is sharing conversations and thoughts and kind of everything with the world from different people like you, and because everyone has to say something, and Thank you very much and take care. If you have one last sentence to say, it's your chance, and if not, you can just...
Oh, no. I'd rather close it because I would go probably with very cliche.
Okay.
So I don't want it to sound cliche.
Say it. I cut it out if it's not. If it's too cliche, I cut it out.
No, just like live life. It's the most important. We don't know what's next.
Yeah.
So what we know is that we have this life. So it is worth living it. Yeah. And do not strive for the stars. Don't settle for anything less.
Yeah.
Is that too cliche?
Absolutely not. No.
And also, you're never too old to start again.
That's what I saw. Yeah, that's what I saw when I listened to you. Like that's kind of the message which you brings up here is, don't bother with your age. Don't think too much. Like it's never too late to change something if it's not your thing. Yeah.
Well, and you also shared with me last night that you started a journey when you were 30 years old.
Yeah.
So you're way younger than I am today, but I started when I was 35. So there's not really, like, age is a number on a piece of paper,
Exactly. Yeah.
So also good luck for your journey.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, you can follow if you want.
I will.
Where I'll go, what happened, who I met.
Sure.
And maybe, and I think we always see us or meet us twice. We see us again somewhere on this crazy planet.
Absolutely. And if you stop by Torino, give me a call. Yeah. I would gladly reconnect and see what happened in the meantime.
Yeah, I will do that, definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And everyone in the wide world, take care. And thanks for listening.